At 5 a.m. in a freezing neighborhood in Chicago, 17-year-old Jason Miller tied his torn running shoes with shaking hands. His mother worked night shifts cleaning offices, and their apartment barely had enough heat during winter. Every morning, Jason ran through empty streets while other teenagers slept peacefully. At school, people laughed at him. "Bro thinks he's becoming an Olympian," one student mocked. Jason stayed silent. Deep inside, he carried a dream bigger than his pain. After classes, he worked part-time at a grocery store stacking shelves. At night, he trained alone under broken stadium lights because he couldn't afford a professional coach. His meals were simple, sometimes just bread and peanut butter. But every lap he ran carried one promise. One day, my mom will never struggle again. One evening, during a local race, an old athletics coach named Daniel Carter noticed Jason outrunning trained athletes despite wearing damaged shoes. Coach Carter stopped him after the race. "Kid, where do you train?" Jason smiled weakly. "Anywhere I can." The coach saw something rare, heart. From that day, everything changed. Coach Carter trained Jason for free. Early mornings became brutal workouts. Rain, snow, injuries, nothing stopped him. While others partied, Jason sacrificed everything. Months later, he qualified for the national championships. But just 2 weeks before the event, disaster struck. Jason injured his ankle during training. Doctors told him, "You may never compete professionally again." For the first time, Jason broke down crying. Years of sacrifice felt destroyed in one moment. That night, his mother sat beside him and held his hand. "You were already a champion the day you refused to quit," she whispered. Those words changed him forever. Jason spent months recovering. The pain was unbearable, but he trained harder than ever. Slowly, he came back stronger. Then came the Olympic trials. The entire stadium watched as Jason lined up beside world-class athletes. Nobody expected the poor teenager from Chicago to survive the race. The gun fired. Jason exploded forward. Every painful memory fueled him. The mocking classmates, the empty fridge, his mother's exhausted face after work. Final lap. The crowd stood screaming. Jason pushed beyond his limits and crossed the finish line first. He was going to the Olympics. At the Olympic Games in London, millions watched the final race. Cameras flashed across the stadium. Commentators focused on famous athletes, barely mentioning Jason. But destiny had different plans. The race began. Jason stayed behind at first, waiting patiently. Then, in the final seconds, he sprinted with everything left inside him. One athlete after another fell behind. The stadium erupted. Jason crossed the finish line. Gold medal. He collapsed onto the track crying while the American flag waved above him. Back home, his mother watched from their tiny apartment with tears streaming down her face. The same boy people once mocked was now an Olympic champion. During the medal ceremony, reporters asked Jason, "What kept you going through all the struggle?" Jason looked into the camera and smiled. "Being poor is temporary. Giving up is forever."